Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 321.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos. We are also reunited once again.
Yeah, reunited.
Yes, I'm so excited. Joe just made it in within the hour, and
Yeah, I got about an hour ago.
They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, and sometimes they say that in like a snarky, flippant way. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us, because I may just be going on and nobody can hear us. But it's true. We're together a lot, and I love you every day. But after being apart for a week, it was like my heart.
10 days.
My heart was fluttering as I saw your truck, because we kind of like drove in at the same exact time, and it was beautiful.
And then I did something to my ankle, and I have no idea what. I woke up this morning and I can't walk. I'm literally jumping around on one foot right now.
Yes. So
I couldn't get out of the truck. I don't know what I did, but it is so swollen. Like I can't, my toes, I don't know what I did. If I stepped wrong in my sleep, I have no idea. Sounds good. Perfect.
Thanks.
So, so got back from Texas, what was that? It was 1,180 miles each way.
You were saying that we've had the RV for 1 month.
Like a month and a week.
And how many miles have we
4,500 miles.
We put 4,500 miles.
My poor truck.
In a month.
My poor truck.
Gracious me.
And we're about to do another 3,000.
I understand it is Ford tough. That's what I've been told.
Yeah. So, but no, I had a great time in Texas. Got an amazing solar system that I put in. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and I'll have a video going up on Two Crazy Campers for the system. But on the last day, Todd and I did some testing, and I was able to run all 3 ACs, the air fryer, and the microwave at the same time.
Hallelujah.
On battery and solar, and we didn't overload the system. It's like ridiculously overpowered.
Ironically, 3 ACs in an air fryer is what it takes for me to be happy. So I feel like that was perfect.
Now,
that is the standard.
If you run all 3 ACs, you won't be able to run them for very long with the batteries. I mean, like, the system is designed to not overload the system.
Right.
But if you want longevity on the batteries and be able to just have it just on solar and battery, like 1 AC.
Okay, so asking for a friend, if you were to run 1 AC, like on just solar alone, like on the battery, how long do you think this person, my friend, would have AC?
If we have sun, like right now, indefinitely.
That is.
So I've got 2,000 watts on the roof.
Indefinitely.
You're only going to get 2,000 watts into the system for maybe an hour a day when the sun's in the perfect position. The rest of the day, you're going to get 700, 1,100, 500 as the sun moves.
Wow.
But those ACs are really efficient. They only need about 800 watts to run. So you'll get at least 50% of it running on just the solar. The battery kind of fixes it. And then overnight, the battery will run the solar, run the AC, and then the next day it'll charge up. The key would be don't keep the air conditioner on 24 hours a day.
Right, when you're outside of it.
If you're outside, don't have it on.
So, because it is hot here already, you guys. It's May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo to everybody that's going to have a taco bowl like us today. But I have already sweated my hair down. My hair was completely different this morning. Sweated it down. I spent my lipstick on you, but like the rest of my makeup has already sweated off today. It's crazy.
Lynette wanted to know where in
Hey,
Texas
Lynette.
when I was in Texas for last week up in Athens, Texas, near Henderson, at my friend Todd's place. He's the owner and creator of Big Beard Battery, and
it's a big beard.
He's got a solar clinic. And the whole idea behind the solar clinic is, like, we talked about my system, and again, I have an extensive system, but the average solar installer makes $150 to $200 an hour. And so you're looking at 45 to 50 hours that my solar system just in labor would probably cost about $10,000 in labor to install, not including all of the components. And so what he's done is he's created a clinic where instead of somebody paying a solar installer to do their installation, you can go to him, bring your RV to him, you do the install.
Which you learn better that way anyway.
With his guidance. So, and when I say you do the install with his guidance, like he gives you a little bit of guidance, he helps you design the system. He goes, okay, this is what you're going to do. And then you do it. And then when you're like, can you help me? He's like, no.
You got to figure it out.
You've got it. Like, he will help you troubleshoot if you get stuck. And he like handed up the solar panels. But as far as like, hey, can you help me crimp all these wires? I got a whole bunch. Nope, you're doing the work. You know?
Yeah, but then you know how to fix stuff.
That person would know how to diagnose the system. So if you pay a solar installer 10 grand and then you have a problem with your system, you got to call him back out to come fix it. Whereas now people will be able to do the installation.
What is the ballpark of the solar clinic?
$2 grand.
$2,000 versus $10,000.
Right. And now you're a solar installer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's good math.
Now I will say I didn't have to pay for the clinic. I mean, just like full disclosure, I didn't have to pay for the clinic because we are brand ambassadors for Big Beard Battery, and he wanted me to experience it to see what I thought about it.
He still didn't do the work.
No, he did not do the work. He helped me with, handed me the panels up on the roof because I was up on the roof, which is 14 feet high. And then my inverters are mounted on a ceiling. Mm-hmm. And so they weigh 70 pounds a piece. And so I had to lay in the bay on my back and bench press them up and hold them in the air. Well, he screwed them in.
Strength training.
That was pretty much the extent. And then he taught me how to program, which is something I did not know how to do.
So again, a lot of times we talk about functional fitness, we talk about movement, and neither one of us is trying to become a professional on stage display my muscles and veins bodybuilder. Nope. But I truly believe that anybody that has decided I am going to pursue functional fitness in order for me personally to strengthen myself, I am a bodybuilder. I am building my body. This is my body. And a lot of times we don't think about when we're going to want it, but in that moment, when you've got another gentleman watching you to see if you can bench press this stuff.
Which, 70 pounds isn't a lot, but you're in an awkward position. You're inside of a little cubby.
But this is...
curled up, holding it up.
This is like when you pull into the RV show, though, and you don't want to have somebody else drive your vehicle for you. You don't want to not be able to pick that up and hold it for a long time and do your part while he is trying to help you.
Yeah, and then, it was a tiring week. Like, my head hit that pillow, I was out. I don't even know what time I went to bed most of the time. Thanks to my Brooklyn bedding, I felt bad. Poor Rachel's sleeping on an air mattress.
Mattress.
And I'm on my beautiful Sedona Elite mattress. But you worked. Guys were walking around like, you need to tell people bring ibuprofen.
And you didn't need that.
No. So let's get into Keto Beyond the Couch.
So since you're mentioning the fact that I was sleeping on an air mattress, I want to apologize to anybody at the Central Florida Ketos meetup that happened. You missed a good time, friend. That happened this past weekend. It was awesome. Nancy and Sarah Joy and Matt Franklin, they put on such an amazing meetup. We had such a great time, but I want to apologize to anybody that was at the meetup where I had to do the Sylvester Stallone thing because my neck is just not quite right. And I have to turn my entire body to see somebody. It was very difficult to just turn my head alone. So I am really glad my bed is back.
Sorry, baby. Ugh. So if you are new here, this is Keto Beyond the Couch. Keto Beyond the Couch is all about our subscribers. We like to do this every Monday, normally at 10 a.m. Eastern when I'm not driving for 18 hours.
That's right.
And so the way we're going to do this, we're going to go over all of our subscriber stories, answer questions and stuff from the last week from our social media, like our Mighty Networks group, which is members.2crazyketos.com. It's a completely free community. You can also support us financially if you want with $5, $10, or $25 a month in that group. But the last 10 or 15 minutes will address the chat. So if you have a question based on what we're talking about, either A, hold off to the end, or B, go ahead and use the super chat function, which we really appreciate. It helps benefit the channel, but more importantly, it does highlight our screen and let us know that you have your question. Let's jump right in with this from Sean.
Hey, Sean.
Sean said, You have heard the saying that you are your own worst enemy. You are also your greatest ally. Do things in your life to make it better. Have a great day, Al. I said, if anyone is magically going to appear and suddenly make your life better, just know that person is always going to be you.
Wow, you are right. You know, sometimes, like this week, I was very focused on, hey, Rachel, you are going to have to encourage yourself. I was noticing that thing because Joe is gone. And because we're always together, you being gone for that long, obviously, very, very noticeable. But you know what? Now that you're back, I still should not depend on you or a friend or some exogenous entity to be the thing that encourages me. First of all, tells me the truth that I am valuable and that I am worth it and that I am doing what I'm doing. I'm making nutritional choices. I'm making body movement choices that's going to give me longevity and help me feel great every day. I don't need somebody else telling me that. I need to be the person, like Sean is saying, that magically just decides, maybe the decision is magical, that you decide I am going to be the first line of defense when it comes to staying positive.
Yeah. The only good thing about us being apart, because
Yeah.
other than this, the whole week sucked.
But I basically jumped you in the driveway? Was
No,
that it?
that's not even the best part.
It's about to be honeymoon night.
Yeah, that's right. So we need to finish this up. So,
Goodbye, everybody. No.
No, was that I didn't have you telling me the sheets were on upside down.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's about it.
I love you. Like
I don't care if the top is at the bottom and the bottom is at the top, or if it's I
No,
don't care. Like
he
no,
doesn't.
there's no way you noticed.
What
And
would-
so I crawled into bed, and it didn't matter. Half the time the sheet was on top of the comforter.
it looked like it in there. I will say that within 2 minutes of like saying hi to you and stuff like that, I immediately just began cleaning.
Well, it rained, and Todd's place is all dirt. And I actually scrubbed the place, but you just could not. There was so much dirt, like to the point that even I was like, I'm like, man, like I took a shower every night and I still feel like the sheets are dirty, which is why I stripped the bed.
We have a thing in our family that's called paw clean because my grandfather used to be like, well, he cleaned it, but it's like,
No.
it's paw clean.
It was immaculately clean until I stopped last night, and at Cracker Barrel, like where I had to park, was a mud pit.
I have a question. We brought this up at the meetup on Saturday. Without me there to tell you the person that's driving in front of you, they're putting on their brake lights and you need to like slow down. Without me telling you, I think that person's going to turn, here. How did you get home? Without me being the backseat driver.
Because you're a horrible backseat driver.
Right? Like, you got home without me. I don't know how you did it.
Okay, next one is from Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Chris said, let's see, it's a friendly reminder. Okay.
Friendly reminder, yes.
I don't know why I can't read it up there.
Because it's on top of the, yeah, it's okay. Just start from
go ahead.
smile.
It says smile. Flash that grin like a spark through gasoline. Light up the rims. Change the game. Your energy infects the world. Make it electric. Laugh. Belly laugh. Ugly laugh. Lose your breath laugh. It's pure horsepower for your mind, body, and spirit. Laugh like you're punching holes through gravity. Love. Love wide open. Love without breaks. Throw it into every corner of your life because hate and disapproval are sandbags on a rocket ship. Don't be the thunderstorm on someone's sunny day. Be the sky so clear it makes them believe they can fly. Conquer. Grip this day by the throat. Every move, every breath, attack it. Drive it like you stole it. Win it like your life's on the line. Today is your track. Own it. Final lap. You matter. You're built different. You're born to win. Now go make history.
Wow, Chris.
And I just want to say, Chris is putting up these kind of inspirational posts every day in Mighty Networks. So
Shining
if you're
star.
not in Mighty Networks, go join it. Again, most of everything is free in there. Members.2crazyketos.com. You cannot do this without community, and that's why. You have people like Chris trying to inspire people every single day.
And I'm going to challenge you guys this week. You guys want to challenge yourself. It's not going to be what you eat. It's not even going to be how you move. But I'm going to challenge everybody to take the Chris challenge and decide that you are going to attempt to inspire others, that you are going to search for, maybe it's, you can find a post and then you just type it up yourself, or you're going to come up with a post that you're going to put in the Mighty Networks. Like, I challenge you, Chris has set the standard every single day. Let's get in there and be a blessing, because as you can see, there's determination in that post. There is determination to be motivating and really just define what that looks like. What does love look like? What does laughter look like? I love it.
Yeah.
So there's the standard this week.
Lynette said, keto be on the couch after dark.
Right.
It will be after dark. Cheryl Scott Peters. Hello, keto friendly.
You mean Chris Scott?
Chris Shop, sorry. This first photo came up as a Facebook flashback. We have found more than fat loss or pounds lower on the scale. Our many lifestyle changes have given us the strength and energy for continued optimal metabolic health. We've been following the recommendations of Dr. Ken Berry for the last 5.5 years since we started a ketogenic lifestyle. Everyday choices matter for mental and physical health.
Yes.
Love and peace, the 2KK family. And there they are.
Oh my gosh, look at you guys. 5.5 years and going strong. You know, I totally understand, like, and we've experienced weight loss, and that is phenomenal. That is a joy. I am not like poo-pooing on losing hundreds of pounds. Like, we're really thankful for that. But at some point, we are not designed to go into the negative. Right? We're not designed to be like -5 pounds, -10 pounds, right? At some point, the weight loss will get to a weight that you're maybe comfortable with. Maybe you're like, hey, I've got weight loss with notes. Like, I'd be happy if I lost 5 or 10 more pounds or whatever. But that is no longer plugging up the wellness. Right. Your weight, even if you're like, man, I've got some way to go, it's no longer impairing your mobility. It is no longer like showing up in the lab work as like, we've got a problem. Like, if we are no longer dealing with like fatty liver disease or type 2 diabetes, and we have prescribed medication, that type of wellness is something that needs to be honored every single day. And sometimes, social media, though it could be a two-edged sword, it sometimes does the reminding for us that we should just be diligent to do, but we forget. Right. So I'm thankful for those Facebook memories, aren't you?
Next one is from Terry and Penny.
Hey, Terry and Penny, I just want to say thank you. My husband found you when I started a keto carnivore way of eating in September for control of glucose. Hubby started this way of eating in October, and I am gobsmacked. He has done exceptionally well. He got labs back, and his A1C went from a 7.8 to a 5.9. Wow. I am concerned about his LDL, which is 97, and his HDL, which is 32.
That's a little low.
I have tried to convince him to quit the statins, but he wants to talk to the doctor first. I won't take them because I had, my gracious, and it was painful. On a more positive note, we went camping in Grants, New Mexico. While we went to the ice cave and the Bandera volcano. We hiked all the way up, took the scenic route down to the ice cave, and went down and up 70 steps and made our way back to the gift shop. It was so beautiful. I don't think I could have done it a couple of months ago. Oh, and my fasting sugars lately have been a little over 100, and before bed they have been under. Yippee.
That is awesome.
That's what it's about. You think about that. I am so much looking forward to the low carb cruise, and we get the joy of being able to travel with people who I truly believe Alaska's on their bucket list. Yeah. I mean, going on a cruise is awesome no matter where you're going, but going to Alaska, that's a bucket list for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Well, think about how the fulfillment of your bucket list is different when you're well. Like, it is one thing to be like, I touched the port in Sitka. Like, I literally made my way off the boat and I can touch it and say, yay, I made it to Alaska. It is so different. Like, people are going to be hiking to glaciers. Right. People are going to be zip lining in Alaska. And that's just a different way to enjoy life.
Yeah. Next one is from Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Today is my ketoversary. 7 years ago today, I started keto. High cholesterol gone, diabetes gone, fatty liver disease, stage 4 gone.
Wow.
Blood pressure normal, all labs in normal range. Only medication I take is for hypothyroidism. Most of my thyroid was removed. Take the wins, no matter how big or small.
Yep.
They all add up in the end. At my highest weight, I weighed a little over 300 pounds and was miserable. Last weigh-in yesterday, I was 160 pounds.
Wow.
I just turned 50 at the end of April, and things are looking bright. I hope this helps and inspires someone to start and keep going.
You got this,
That is
Emily.
awesome.
Emily, it does. Like that is the motivation. What you're intending for this post to do, where you're like celebrating, it is blessing somebody. And also, I think it's really good to write it down and see it yourself. You have completely reversed some major problems. This is a life and death thing for many, many people. And you have created wellness in your
More
life.
importantly, by you sharing your story, you're inspiring other people. So we thank you for that.
Yeah.
Next one is from Becca.
Becca!
Where do you get the chamber vacuum sealer bags? I thought I had the site bookmarked, but I seem to have lost the link. I can't recall the company name. It's JVR Industries. There is a link down below on every one of our videos. I think that JVR makes the best chamber vacuum out there.
Do not go to that site.
One of the reasons is because it's very serviceable and they're an American company. So
You are not allowed to go to that site though, because I was looking on there myself, because I am missing so badly our freeze dryer, and I am missing like our dehydrator because everything is like packed up. I went to the site. They have some new gadgetry there. Oh my
I
gosh.
just don't have a place for it right now.
Gorgeous.
Next one is from Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Nancy said, hey there, I've been eating meat-heavy keto for 3 months and my triglycerides went up to 170. LDL2, which I know about. LDL2, which I know about. My doctor is going to freak out, but I'm not worried. I am concerned about triglycerides though. My A1C is 6.2. This is where it's been for a while. I've been strict keto, no junk or sugar or packaged products, but I make recipes with allulose. Is it too early for a big change? I'm 63. Thanks for any input. So if you're just starting and losing a bunch of weight, it tends to be your triglycerides are going to go up before they go down. It's not something that I would personally worry about. Again, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals, but understand what the triglycerides are. It's like basically free-floating fat, in essence. So you're losing a bunch of weight. When you first get started, as your body's adapting, sometimes your triglycerides go up. Could be up because you're just eating too much, especially too much fat.
When you're getting adapted.
So there could be a lot of things, but stress can cause triglycerides. But again, if you've only been eating keto for 3 months, I'd give it a little bit of time. Give things. It took how long to get to where you are?
So
or
true.
Where you were. So don't give up after 3 months.
Thank you, Jennifer Lucas.
Thanks, Jennifer, for the $5
Yay!
super chat. The Indiana Keto Meetup is May 24th. We're so excited for Joe and Rachel to be our special guests. See low carb events for details. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was actually
Check
looking.
it out.
It's kind of like right off of the road for us going home, because we will be in Elkhart for the week prior.
Indiana.
So we're going up there for the rally, for the Alliance rally.
And before that's meat stock.
And before that is meat stock. So what we need to do is figure out where we can park the RV, because we're literally going to leave the Alliance rally to go to the meetup and then keep going straight home.
So excited.
So we got to find some place to put it. Suzanne said,
Hey,
some
Suzanne.
signs that to me that I'm in ketosis that don't cost me anything. They don't happen when I'm not. 1, being silly, laughing over myself. 2, feeling joy just to be alive. 3, spontaneously bursting into song.
Wow.
So, yeah, and it's kind of the topic for today. People ask us, how do I know what I'm ketosis? Well, you can buy a Keto Mojo.
Sure.
There's a link down below, and
We
you
have
can
one.
test your ketones. Now, I am going to tell you, contrary to popular opinion and belief, the Keto Mojo is not telling you if you're in ketosis. It doesn't. It doesn't tell you you're in ketosis. It tells you if you're in ketogenesis, which is your body producing ketones, but it doesn't tell you if you're in ketosis, meaning your body using ketones. Because the only way you can really do that at home would be with a breath test, but it's very difficult to do a breath test. And you have to have a very good meter, and the meter's going to cost you a couple $100. So that's the difference. Is ketosis is your body using ketones. Ketogenesis is your body producing ketones. So if you use a Keto Mojo, it's going to tell you, are there ketones in your blood? If there's ketones in your blood, your body's producing ketones, unless you're consuming exogenous ketones, okay? So how do you know if you're in ketosis? How do you know if you're in ketogenesis? And it doesn't just have to be by taking a blood test.
No.
Some people talk about breath, and then
Stanky
people
breath?
ask me, it's just it's a feeling. You have less brain fog. You tend to just feel more energetic. I'm happier. What about you?
Same for me. In fact, like I usually don't test my ketones unless they're
we haven't tested our ketones since we moved here.
right. So unless I just feel like something is just really, really off, right? So yeah, that's exactly it. I know that, I've got my fat up where it needs to be. If I feel like I've got good energy, sustained energy, stamina, I feel like it's if I'm feeling in the doldrums, if I'm not feeling very like optimistic and there's nothing wrong, I think, oh, okay, like I feel very fatigued and just like gloom, then I feel like that's where I'm like, oh, I need to kind of get my fat up today.
I saw Trish said, for those of you going on the Alaska cruise, if you have the opportunity to hit up Jerry's Meats in Juneau, they make the best smoked salmon.
Neat.
It might be worth the hassle of bringing some home with you.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Thanks, Trish.
Next one's from Jeannie.
Hey, Jenny.
My cousin told me that Subway has keto subs now.
Really?
Yeah, caution. I looked it up, and they were promoting it as one net carb with the word net in small letters, of course.
Of course.
It's from a company called Hero Bread, very familiar with Hero Bread. And a serving contains 0 grams of sugar, 1 gram of net carbs, 100 calories, 12 grams of protein, and 26 grams of fiber. I can't find an ingredient list or nutritional label from Subway, but in the products on the Hero Bread website, they list modified wheat starch and wheat flour, among other things.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, in my opinion, it's garbage.
I would turn it into a salad. If you're going to go to Subway,
If you're going to go to Subway, get a salad.
Get a salad.
My opinion is stay away from all those keto-friendly breads that you buy in the grocery stores. There are a couple of good things out there, but they're generally going to be in the refrigerated section only. Even if you can find them in the store, things like Unbeliever buns and stuff like that. But it doesn't taste.
I have
anything
Unbeliever
like bread.
buns.
Put it this way: if it tastes like real bread, it's too good to be true.
It is bread.
Okay, it's bread. If it contains wheat, it is not a keto-friendly food. It has nothing to do with how many net carbs it is. And this is a perfect example that net carbs are a lie. There's no such thing really as net carbs. They were made up by the food industry. Are there fibers that your body will not digest for food? Yes. The fibers God made. Things like
broccoli,
the fiber in broccoli, or asparagus or celery. I mean, listen, why does anybody eat celery unless it's cooked in a stew? Right? Because it's like basically you're eating dental floss.
Well, Caleb calls it hair.
So
it's a hair
you're
vegetable.
eating a bunch of dental floss. Of course your body's not going to use that as fuel. Okay? But when it comes to these kind of things and like wheat starch and stuff they're adding stuff in there to be able to deduct fiber. If you go look at regular bread, it has less fiber than this has. It also generally has less total carbs.
Well, just again...
And I'm not saying go eat regular bread. I'm saying they're lying to you to get you to buy a product.
Well, and we need to stop for a second and not be mad at it, but just understand that they're trying to sell something. So... And sometimes people, you think about like snake oil salesmen of yesteryear, it didn't do anything. They'd be selling you something that could actually like hurt you, right? But
I have to elevate my foot.
Yeah, that's okay. But I want to sell you this thing. And if I have to lie to do it, and you need the permission slip, like, hey, I want to eat bread as a former carb addict, I want to eat bread. So if you say, well, you can eat this magic bread and this magic bread, like none of this stuff counts.
Yeah.
Then I want to be like, okay, the addict in me, you know, we used to use, what was it, Life Cereal, where it's like on one side, or shredded wheat's on one side, like the kid in me, the addict in me wants to say, good, cool,
Right.
all right, all sides are go, right? But if it's got wheat in it, and you have done the very hard work to fix your relationship with food and not need wheat, don't poop where you sleep.
Right.
Right? Don't get yourself back into the weeds again with something that's wheat.
Wheat is inflammatory.
It's inflammatory.
So Dustin said, Hero Bread in the grocery store is $10 for a half a loaf and eight hot dog or hamburger buns. It's too much. It's not worth it for your health. I don't even think it's good for people just getting started, because it just keeps them wanting bread. And again, this is where, and you know, as we move on, just whenever you go into stores, especially fast food restaurants, when they are labeling something keto, look hard. You know, I remember when Blaze Pizza came out with the keto crust.
Yeah.
And then when you looked at it, it was the same kind of thing. They had all kinds of ingredients, and they're like, well, it's like 3 net carbs, but it was like 3 net carbs for a slice.
Not the pizza.
I haven't been to Blaze Pizza in years.
It was be like this big.
But you're not. Nobody's eating one slice of Blaze Pizza. You're eating the whole pizza.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea. It's an individual pizza that we would put like 5 pounds of toppings on.
But for real, I'm telling you, the carb addict in me, if you say to me, you pay $45, Rachel, but you can live like the emperor in the emperor's new clothes, where it's like, yes, he's naked, but he feels good about it, right? Like if you tell me, hey, carb addict, you pay $45 for this pizza, but I'm wink, wink, giving you permission to eat this thing, carb addict is going to be like, what do I have to go without in order to have the $45 to buy this pizza?
Right.
Because I just want to have someone tell me, give me a permission slip to just eat whatever the heck I want.
Yeah. Next one is from Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn.
Said, I haven't posted for a while, but I'm keeping on. This year I want to climb 140,000 feet and ride a total of 4,000 miles. Some on Swift, which is an indoor cycling app, and some in the real world. And look at all that she's doing. That's
Look
awesome.
at this achievement. This is achievement. This is the pursuit of life and enjoyment. We used to settle for sugar. We used to settle for food being our fun and being our adventure, right? And marketing said, hey, yeah, be a culinary adventure, wink, wink, and like be a foodie. That's gonna be the hobby, but that's gonna be the only thing that you get to enjoy. And look at what Carolyn's pursuing.
Yeah. Next one is from Laura.
Hey, Laura.
I have a weakness for Smelt roe.
Ooh.
Really?
That's
Okay.
That's specific.
I can eat it by the spoonfuls, and it's $18 a pound where I live. So the other day I bought a pound of it, and it's almost gone. Is there really too much of a good thing? With salmon, with Smelt roe, no. The only thing I can find is the sodium content. I'm thinking if I don't drink salty the day I eat the roe, it should be fine,
Yeah.
right? So, okay.
It's actually really healthy for you.
So Smelt roe, like all roes, is going to be like high in omega-3s. It's going to be high in selenium, high in like vitamin B, and it is good for you. I don't think it's worth it for me, but it's
you're not a
great for
fish
you.
guy.
No, it's like I said, I'd rather just black vitamin B personally, but that's just me. No, if you enjoy it, I think that's great. I would not even worry about the sodium content, and I wouldn't even worry about the salty. Here's the thing. Your body, this is like a little known fact that I highly encourage everybody to go read the book, The Salt Fix, okay? It is an amazing book, and it really does talk about how in the United States and really around the world, we've demonized the wrong white crystal. And I'm not talking about like cocaine, okay? We've demonized salt and said sugar was good.
Because it's worse than cocaine.
I mean, honestly, I think they would tell you that cocaine is better for you than salt.
It's easier
right?
to get the sugar.
And so we've demonized salt, but the problem is your body absolutely needs salt, and it needs the perfect amount. But here's the cool thing. Your body is really, really, really good at regulating the amount of sodium it has. It's really good at it because we're a mammal. All mammals are very good at regulating the amount of sodium in their blood. Think about whales.
That is the coolest thing to me.
Whales
they're living in salt water.
live in salt water, and everything they eat lives in salt water and is obviously salty, yet their body is regulating the amount of sodium in its blood, because that's just how our body works. So here's the cool thing. They talk about how, like, oh, if you eat too much salt, you're going to have a heart attack. It's actually many times the other way around. That high sodium actually will help. Low sodium can increase your blood pressure. So water chases salt. If you were consume too much sodium, is so long as you are drinking fluids, and it doesn't even have to be water, but so long as you are drinking fluids throughout the day, your body will flush out any excess sodium. So I eat, on average, consume between salty and salting my food, and everything that I like is salty.
Bacon.
Bacon. I mean, I pretty much like, that was the best part about the solar clinic. It literally ends with Todd making a giant brisket. I brought a pound of the jalapeno bacon from Carol's that we had picked up on our way home from Elkhart. I mean, so I eat a lot of salty food, and then I dump a lot of salt on my food, and then I consume several salty. So I would say I'm probably somewhere around 10,000 milligrams of sodium a day, and the sodium in my blood is still on the low side. Your body's just really good at regulating your sodium. So if you have too much sodium, your body will get rid of it. Number one way is through diarrhea. You'll just get diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Number two would be through pee, and then the final way is through sweat. Now, if you're not consuming any sodium, if you're not consuming any fluids, that is where you get bloating. So when people say, well, like, I'm all bloated because I ate so much sodium, you're swollen because you ate so much sodium. You're swollen because you ate a lot of sodium and didn't consume any fluids.
Right.
Because if you're consuming the fluids, your body will use those fluids to
Get
flush out the sodium that it doesn't need.
You got to give it water.
Eat your salmon roe and don't worry about the sodium. Just make sure you're drinking.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're drinking, and I would not worry about it at all. Now remember, we're not doctors or health professionals, but go look this up. This is nothing like, I'm not inventing this. This is well known. Dr. Barry's talked about it. Dr. Nicodemus talks about it in Salt Fix. You know, like, salt is a good thing, and we need a lot of it. When I finally got my mother, who was an oncologist, to consume more sodium, her blood pressure went down.
But that was a hard sell.
Yeah.
Because again, they're just like, trained to believe this way.
Yep. Next one is from Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
My significant other and I are going on the low carb cruise. I'm so excited to finally meet you both. I'm part of the Meatheads group, but I haven't been very active, and I'm shy.
Aww.
Well, you're not allowed to be shy. Only I'm allowed to be shy. So you don't know me. Hopefully after the cruise you will. I'd like a video on recommendations for cruising Alaska. Thank you all for all you do. I'm anxiously awaiting my hug.
I'm
So
anxiously
we are
awaiting
going to, again, I only got back today, but I did see all the comments, and there are a lot of people
Great.
who do want us to give some recommendations because we literally did pretty much the same cruise last year. And we only went on one paid excursion through the cruise line because they're expensive. I'll be honest. They are expensive. And so, but in Juneau, we did Juneau for $40 for how many people were there? 4 of us?
Right.
4 of us, right? I'm thinking kids were there, but they weren't.
No.
So there were 4 of us.
Kids will be this time.
And I think we spent like $40 and it was all day. Then when we went to, was it Sitka?
Sitka was the one I think that was was Fortress of the Bear.
And so you're gonna see, and again, we'll make a video about this, but you'll see there are like these expensive excursions for like Fortress of the Bear and stuff like that. And Sitka, I have not booked one excursion. I will be honest. I have not booked anything to do in Alaska. For me, half of it is just sitting on the balcony and watching.
Bring a camera for sure.
So, but there you can take a taxi to Fortress of the Bear and be there for a long time. And you can, so what we did was we took a little taxi kind of thing. There's little things there's like little, what do you call them? Like carpool. It's not Uber, but it's kind of like that. It's like a like a van that holds like 10 people.
Yeah.
And so they took us up there, and then we literally walked to the Eagle place, and then from there when we were there, it was the salmon run, and then we walked over and we literally walked our way, and I think again we spent like $30 a piece. It was on excursions that are a couple of $100s.
Right.
And you're very limited in time.
I was going to say, yeah. So if you take a tour, especially in Sitka, I found this, that it's like they're trying to, they're taking you around, but you have very limited time. So you may want to stay longer in some places and you might want to leave quicker in other places, but your timetable is determined by the tour if you do it that way. So we'll show you how we kind of a la carted, our days, and I thought it was really good.
Bonnie, thanks for the $4.99 super chat or super sticker.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Chris said, yeah, Blaze Pizza discontinued the keto crust and wouldn't make a crustless pizza. It's lame. And honestly, I would love to go to Blaze Pizza, but I don't even care. We got it on the crust first, and we didn't eat the crust. Don't worry. But we literally, the crust made it great, but like Rachel wouldn't go into Blaze Pizza with me because I would go in and they're like, what do you want? And I'm like, I want that. And they're like, what else? And I'm like, I would not tell them the next thing I want until they put what I wanted on. So like, here's the mozzarella cheese. What other cheeses? Some more mozzarella cheese. Now can I have some regatta? And they're like, just tell them all. No, I'm not going to tell them all because then you're not going to give me everything I want. And then I would go meat down meat, and literally our pizzas weighed like 5 pounds a piece. Like you couldn't finish it. And then we just scrape it off. And sometimes we would go home and make our chicken crust pizza and put the toppings from their pizza onto our chicken crust pizza.
So I am blessed to have that friend that like I am both embarrassed by and then also use. Like I use your skills. The fact that you are like a nudge. Like I am embarrassed to say that I am like, oh no, don't ask. Like don't act like you're with me until the deed is done. Yeah. And now I have a 5-pound pizza to eat, and then I enjoy it, and then I go back to admitting that I know you.
Next one's from Meg.
Hey Meg.
I'm so glad I watched this morning. I just had a week where my weight jumped up 2 pounds and stayed there. Nothing. I just kept eating my food, moving. I won't say it wasn't discouraging because it was, but I knew from you that I just needed to stay consistent.
Yes.
I'm right back down this morning, and I'm not concerned because time and consistency will get me where I need to go.
Yes.
For my fellow keto friends, stay consistent and trust the process. This is probably a bad thing to say in light of the whole political spectrum in this country, and this is not one way or the other. But your weight loss journey is like the stock market. Okay? The stock market will go down and then it will come up. But over time, it's higher now than it was 75 years ago. Right? It's always on this. So your weight is this, but it's gonna up and down and up. That's why you've got to stay off the scale every day. The scale is the devil. A woman can gain and lose 5 pounds in a single day.
And somebody out there has had our experience where you pooped and then got on the scale.
I mastered the art of weighing more after I pooped.
After you pooped. How is that even possible? That cannot be the thing. But I find that when I pick up worry, anxiety over like I'm not losing, that becomes like, think of that as like weights that you are putting and carrying onto your arms. And like now I get on the scale the next day and I have yesterday's worry and the worry the day before that I'm not losing the weight, quickly enough. Now I get on this new day, it's like day 3, and it feels like it's getting worse. It's because I've carried all of those burdens, all of that worry. I find that when I'm like, screw it, I am just going to eat meat and move my body. This doesn't need to be complicated. Like I am just going to eat meat and I'm going to move my body and I am going to pursue positivity and I'm going to brag on myself even on days when I don't want to. I'm going to do it consistently anyway. That's when the release comes.
Yeah.
It really does.
I see Sabrina said someone told me about a Mendenhall Glacier salmon bake, all you can eat salmon in Juneau, which I can eat my weight in, but it's sold out. So just Google Alaska shore excursions. There's like what shoreexcursiongroup.com, something like that. So here's the thing, Alaska, especially with Alaska, it's one of the places, don't be afraid to book outside of the cruise line.
Because you're in America.
First of all, you're in the United States. Second of all, here's a little known secret. Pretty much all of the excursions, especially if you go through like shoreexcursionsgroup.com or whatever, I forget what the name of it is. I have it on my other computer. I could actually tell you it's on this computer. I'm going to pull this up real quick. So if I go to my travel agent bookmarks, it is, let's see. Yeah, Shore Excursions. It's Shore Excursions Group. Okay? Shore Excursions Group.
.com.
Yeah, I can't put the link here because this is a travel agent login.
But shoreexcursionsgroup.com.
Yeah, so a lot of the excursions that they're going to offer, and I'm actually looking at one for us because the cruise line isn't even offering it.
What is it?
I'm not telling you because it's going to be our anniversary present if I can get it, because that's in a week.
Oh, yeah.
See? Wow.
I mean,
I've
obviously.
been gone for 10 days and you forgot our anniversary. Wow. So anyway, you can go and book through them, and you're going to find people who are on our cruise are in the same group you're with. Because all the cruise line is doing is hiring them. The shore excursions you're going on, the cruise line isn't running them. They're literally hiring the locals.
Right.
And so when we went on a cruise with Chris and Miriam, when we went on the Alaska cruise last year, and we did the suspension bridge, what was the other part of it?
Well, that White Pass
it was the
railroad.
White Pass railroad and then the suspension bridge. Half the people that were on the train were from the cruise and booked through the cruise line. We booked privately through Chilla Tours and paid half as much.
Yeah.
So just a little...
Right. This is the one time when we are going to tell you it's okay to risk like booking outside of the cruise.
And
like,
we'll do it a lot. We'll travel. I will tell you the one place as a travel agent, and we're actually going to be doing this one soon. I think that's the one we're doing in the end of September. But the one place I would never book outside of the cruise line is if you go to Cozumel. Is it? Yeah, Cozumel, and you're going to leave if you're going to go to the mainland. Never book outside of the cruise line if you're going to the mainland in Cozumel, because it's a 9-hour deal and they pretty much always get you back right when the cruise is going to leave.
It's too close for
so
comfort.
For that one, you always book through the cruise.
That was a great show.
If you're just going to stay like right on the island and go to like, what is those, all those different bars and nightclubs and stuff, then fine. You don't need anything through the cruise. But if you're going to go to the mainland for like the temples and things like that, then yeah, book through the cruise line, even though we're not going there right now. Next one's from Leafin.
Hi, Leafin.
When you say 18-hour drive, do you mean straight through or do you mean 2 9-hour drives back to back? I wouldn't trust myself to 18 hours straight, even if the interstate ferry came down to part the traffic before me. I have done 24 to 36 hour straight through drives. It for me, I can...
Not with an RV.
No, not with an RV. We did a 15-hour drive with the RV. I can do a long drive, but it's got to be planned right, and I have to have company. I have to have company to keep me awake. Going up, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Coming back, I listen to a lot of YouTube. I just like listen to it while I'm going. And then, what I did was I broke it up into 3 days, just because I didn't want to kill myself. And I was going to areas, I overtire myself. I was going to places I don't know. If I know an area, like when I go to New York, I can do that straight through. I've done that drive so many times to go visit my mom. I can do that straight through. But towing a 12,000-pound RV by myself without Rachel talking to me, making sure that I'm alert, and I don't know the area of Texas and all that. So what I did was I did like 5 hours one day, and I guess I did like 7 hours and then 7 hours and then like 4 hours on the last day. Same thing. I could have made it home last night, but I got to like Ocala area right around 6 o'clock, and that's 4 hours from here. That would have put me getting home at 10 o'clock at night, which I would have been fine with, except for we live in pitch black.
It's so dark here at night.
And so I didn't want to have to drive the RV. If I would have been getting here at, say, 8 o'clock, I would have come straight through and just driven 15 hours yesterday.
And I totally love you, because that meant one more night on that air mattress.
Next one is from Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
I need help. I've been doing keto chow for 3 months. I use butter and water. 3 weeks ago, I started doing keto chow and strict carnivore. So far, I've lost no weight. I'm a massage therapist with heavy workload and 4 days a week. Maybe I need to walk more or drink more water. I need help. Number one, walking more is not going to help you lose weight. Okay?
Help you calm down?
It helps you calm down. It relaxes you. It will de-stress you if you enjoy doing it. If you hate doing it, it's going to cause more stress.
Right.
Okay? Like, so, like, some people are just very relaxed when they go for a walk.
I enjoy walking.
Me, all I'm thinking about is when is it going to be over? Okay? Unless I'm walking for a purpose. So, a lot of times you're saying that you've got a heavy workload 4 days a week. Well, only 80% of your weight loss is based on what you're eating. The other 20% is sleep, stress, and movement. Movement is not just doing a bunch of cardio. Okay? Cardio isn't really great for weight loss. You have to build some muscle. You do need to be moving, but you need to be doing strength training, and it doesn't have to be lifting 500 pounds.
No.
Okay? It could be taking milk jugs and just kind of swinging them around, doing whatever you want, doing air boxing, you know, taking a piece of PVC pipe and doing this.
I was gonna say, I could take this beautiful cup that Cynthia's mom made us, like Joe got one too when we went to the Central Florida meetup, and like you're just doing this.
Yeah.
Fill this thing up with water. If I do this 50 times a day, like if I'm doing, and I'm doing it out, and I'm doing it behind me, this becomes like a weight. You're doing like, you know, your body weight exercise. And I'm going to tell you what, it's going to give you a workout. You're going to feel like your arms are spaghetti noodles. You really are. It works.
So without knowing exactly what you're eating and how much you're eating, it's kind of hard to give you any help. What I would suggest is booking a coaching call.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even necessarily need a whole bunch of them, just one of them, or we can, you know, kind of sit down and go over, okay, what are you eating? What I would suggest, if you wanted to do a coaching call, I'm going to tell you up front, in this situation, the first thing I'm going to tell you is I want you for 1 week to literally track every single thing that goes in your mouth. If it's a piece of gum, if it's a peanut, if it's a sip of water, I want you to diligently track for 1 week and then come back to me. So you can literally save yourself a call
by doing
that first and then coming
book
back
the
to
call.
me. Because, and people think it's silly because, again, we're not big on tracking. But I cannot tell you how many times a coaching client says, like, I think I'm eating more than enough. I'm eating 1,800 calories a day. Joe, you said don't eat less than 1,200 calories. Don't worry, I'm eating 1,800. And then they come back after a week and they're eating 800.
Yeah.
Well, there's the problem right there. So we really need to know what's going on in your life. How stressed are you? How much sleep are you getting? What are the time of days you're eating? Are you snacking? How much fat are you eating? How much protein are you eating? Have you checked your glucose? You know, again, I'm not big, I don't think you necessarily always need to check your ketones so much as where's your glucose at? Are you eating high protein but low fat? Because that can cause issues. So there's a lot of things that you kind of need to look at. Next one is from Carolyn.
Hey, Carolyn.
I woke up last night with the most intense inner thigh cramp. I had calf cramps since I was a kid and know what to do to get relief. But this was different. I could not figure out how to stretch it out. Does anyone else have this issue? I just had some salty and hope I was just low on electrolytes. It is absolutely, it's magnesium. So I would say salty, but more importantly, I would do your salties if you're doing salties, and then get magnesium capsules or the liquids.
From Keto Chow.
No.
We have magnesium ones right there.
We have these, but I was looking for the liquid.
Yeah, but do you the tablets?
No. So what you want to do is I take a couple of these every day.
Yeah.
Okay. And I believe me, I have this. where I wake up literally screaming louder than a pregnant woman in labor. Rachel will tell you.
It is not nice to wake up to.
And I have a very high pain threshold. Like, I am in extreme pain right now. That's why I'm so, like, my ankle really hurts, and I don't know what I did to it. I can barely feel my I can't squeeze my toes. Obviously, I twisted. I don't know what I twisted it on. I went to bed. I was great. I woke up in the morning and I couldn't move it. But take these every day, and then keep near your bed. Get the drops.
Yeah.
If this is something that you experience, and this is for anybody, if you get those, if you're getting muscle cramps in the middle of the night, most of the time that's going to be magnesium. The reason I say get the drops, and I hate the drops, is
they don't taste great.
It's instant.
Yeah.
Like, literally within seconds of putting that under your tongue, the cramp will be gone. So I would start with these, and then it's like keeping a bottle of Tylenol in your purse. You know, I mean, years ago, I try not to take any kind of painkillers or anything. But when I used to always be in pain, one thing I always had with me, I don't know if anybody's ever used something called BC powder.
Yes.
So it's basically
you're that many years old.
Powdered aspirin, but it works better than aspirin and Tylenol because it literally goes right into your bloodstream under your tongue. It's the same kind of thing. So if you're getting that, I would keep the liquid ones just as like, here's my backup. If I'm having a cramp,
wake up,
I can immediately take some of these liquid electrolytes.
Yeah.
Next one is from Amy.
Hey, Amy.
I can't read this one.
29.5 grand design at present while building out our home. So you're living like we're living. Carnivore 38 days and about to break my mom out of the crap nursing home her loser husband locked her up in. Wow. We will be immediately transitioning her to a carnivore keto diet immediately when I take custody of her. We find that living carnivore is so much more simpler and clean and doable, much more so than the typical American diet. You're so right. I mean, what marketing, what big food wants you to believe is that this is just going to be so cumbersome. This is going to be such a hard transition. And I was talking to a gentleman this week when we were at the meetup, and he was talking about like, wow, I used to spend so much time pre-keto wandering the aisles and being like, well, what is really good for me? You're reading boxes, you know, you're taking their word for it, you're taking these claims, and it's really complicated to know, you know, what combination of food, even when you're trying to practice like low carb sometimes or like Mediterranean diet, like what combination of like meat and vegetables and starches do I really authentically need? How much fruit, how much vegetables? And when they went like carnivore or even very, very meat heavy keto like we practice, it's so easy.
Yeah.
It's like I just head to the meat department, grab what I want, and a lot of times, you know, or what's on sale, and I just cook the thing. Now, if we have more uniqueness to our diet, it has to do with the way it has to do with the appliance that we're using to cook the meat.
Right.
Like, do I want pot roast style cooked beef, or do I want it on a grill?
Right. By the way, let's get a chicken out because I'm dying for some chicken. Because I literally cooked up I cooked 10. I didn't want to have to cook all week. I cooked 10 pounds of jalapeno cheddar sausage crumbles, and I literally was just split like ground beef but sausage.
And
that's what I was eating all week.
Don't have any more chicken done here because you very nicely cooked up bone broth and chicken and roasted chicken for me, and all of those jars are gone.
Good. So here's the thing that I want you to be aware for everybody. I don't want you to think it's carnivore or nothing. Okay? I don't want you to see like that, well, like I suck because I can't do carnivore. I'm bored with carnivore. That's okay.
It is okay.
Okay? I am not a carnivore. We eat mostly meat. We eat vegetables if we go out. Like, I stayed at a Cracker Barrel parking lot the other night, and so what I do is, you know, what you're supposed to do is you're getting to park in your RV overnight in their parking lot for free. You're supposed to go in and eat. And so I went in and I had, you know, my dinner and I had broccoli. I got just 2 things of broccoli. I will get broccoli and eat salads and stuff if I go out. We don't have a lot at home because we don't eat it as much and we end up throwing it out.
Right.
So, but if I go out, I will always get it. Understand there has never been a human civilization that was 100% carnivore. Never. Okay? In all of recorded history, we have no tribe that has ever only eaten meat
Burst to death
exclusively in their life. Okay? Inuit Eskimos, they all mostly meat, yes, but not exclusively only meat. We're opportunistic eaters. If they came across berries or seaweed or things like that, they would eat it. And so it's okay if you cannot maintain carnivore. And the second that anybody tells you that like you're not good enough if you're not carnivore,
you don't want to be in that group anyway.
You don't want to be in their group. If there's anybody in our group that's telling you that, let us know. And like, you know, I want to say like if make an obscene gesture to them and get them out of your life if they're going to be that way with you. So the last one kind of comes into this, and I wanted to, this is kind of a joke, but this was a comment, but this is how you know somebody's trolling you.
Okay.
And the thing is I'm putting it in here because this was a comment.
Is this a mean comment?
Kind of.
Joe, I don't like those.
It's not really a mean comment, but I want to tell everybody, if you see comments like this, please let us know, whether it be in our group, our Facebook group, or a comment on here. I want you to report a comment like this because if you've been around us for 2 minutes, you will know this is not possibly true. Okay, and I responded to this person and they said, no, it was absolutely you guys.
Okay, let's see what we did.
I left the 2KK group because people were mean. There was several years ago. Plus a bunch of people were talking about weight loss drugs and how to get them. Before the new injectables, there were some people who were so critical of others that I felt bad for the poor people on the receiving end getting slammed by weight loss drugs.
Okay.
That was a signal for me to get away from these negative vibes. And I didn't understand why the administrator allowed it. This person was never in our group.
This is like
First of all, when you say the administrator, and if you've been subscribed to us for 2 seconds, you know.
The moderators.
You would say Joe and Rachel.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you use the word administrator and not Joe and Rachel?
Right.
So if you see comments like this, this is not our group. Okay? First of all, we would never allow somebody we don't allow you guys to post videos.
Right.
Specifically so that somebody can't accidentally push you something. I mean, for a while, and I'm sure it still goes on, there would be people who would put up, I'm doing a quick recipe video on Facebook.
Right.
And then they would go in and they'd be cooking all this and then be like, press 1 if you want to know how to get more ketones. And it was all to sell you prove it.
Right.
So we have banned all videos. You're not even allowed to put Dr. Barry's videos in. And it's not because we don't love Dr. Barry. It's because I say no to one, I say no to all.
Yeah,
it just makes it easier. So this would never happen in our group.
No.
It would just never happen in our group.
Well, and if it did, somebody would come to our attention. Like we have blocked people. We have kicked people out of the group.
Absolutely.
So if somebody says, hey, like this person really was like, you know, hurt my feelings, like the first thing I'm going to do is go to that person and be like, what did you mean by this? Why are you doing this? Obviously we're going to give somebody a chance to explain themselves, but if they just want to be ornery or they just want to be like exclusive, like we don't have time for that. Like that we don't have energy for that. Like our entire focus is community. So when I say community, I say like big one-room schoolhouse. Not that there are select tables and there's A-listers and like, because we've been on the other end of that. We were never cool enough to fit in. And so I do not want groups where you do not fit in. So there are people in our group that are keto. There are people in our group that are Mediterranean diet. There are people in our group that are vegan and are just coming.
That use GLP-1s.
There are people that are carnivore. But like if somebody is like the only way, if you get Mandalorian in there, like we just had May the 4th be with you, right? If you get Mandalorian in there and you're like, my way is the only way. Then
pretty much the only way to get kicked out of our group is to come in and tell everybody what they're doing is wrong and that you're better than them. That's about
here's the route.
And we have had arguments with people who come in and try to take advantage, saying like, hey, I don't have this stuff, trying to get people to send them a whole bunch of stuff like
Yes.
that kind of stuff. So
my way is my way is the only way it gets the highway.
yeah. So I know that we're over.
Yeah.
Actually, we're not. We have about 15 minutes. I saw this from Angie.
Hey, Angie.
So it said, for some strange reason, we've been watching the 600-pound life, and the doctor says eat protein, and there's no nutritional value in vegetables. Absolutely right. Of course, he's also low fat, which I disagree with, but he is all for zero carb. So in his situation,
is that Dr. Nadir?
Yeah, we used to watch it all the time. I actually love that show.
Yeah.
So in his situation, I think he's correct. Okay. So first of all, you have to understand that the whole idea is and again, I'm not a doctor, okay, but I do know a lot about this particular thing. He is doing weight loss surgery. The biggest problem with weight loss surgery is you cannot eat a lot, and therefore you cannot get nearly the nutrients you want.
That's right.
So if you have weight loss surgery, if you're getting it done, or if you've had it done and struggle eating, this is gonna sound mean, but like stuff like, any kind of keto treat,
desserts,
any kind of keto chocolate, any kind of vegetable should not be in your diet.
You don't, it's not because
It's
like you're
filling.
being punished. It's because you don't really have room. By design, you have shrunk your stomach where it cannot be able to hold a lot of mass.
It's all about nutrient density. How much can you get?
It's like a little kid. You've basically taken yourself back to this, baby toddler stomach.
Right.
And so you don't have any room for any type of nonsense.
Yeah. So in his situation, he's taking my 600-pound life. He's taking these huge people,
and he's getting them practicing.
and he's done a weight loss surgery to them, or he's trying to get them to lose weight, which I've always liked the fact that he would be like, you have to lose weight before I'm willing to do the surgery on you, right? But so he's telling them like zero carb, no vegetables, because why? That's a filler that you're not going to get many nutrients out of. And there's like no nutrients in the vegetables that we're consuming unless you're like growing them on a local farm like us, and you're moving animals around so that, like Joel Salatin's farm, there's going to be nutrients in those vegetables.
Eat those vegetables.
Right? But still, in this situation, I would say no. So they're 600 pounds. They don't need the fat. What they need is the protein, because they're going to lose muscle and lose a lot of muscle.
Yeah.
So they need to, that is where the protein sparing modified fast is good. And that's in essence what he's doing with them. They're getting a weight loss surgery and then they're doing a protein sparing modified fast. The protein is to preserve that muscle, because they've got so much fat, it's going to be a long time.
They have a lot to tap into.
They have a lot of fat to tap into. And so that's where I personally think that is okay. What for? Joe, try cold pressed black seed oil and rub on the swelling on your foot. Worked on my husband's backache. He's swelling and pain went away. Thank you. I'm gonna go elevate my foot after Rachel jumps me.
Joseph Stauffer.
You started it.
Joe.
Lynette said keto. I can't even move right now. So yeah, it's just weird. I haven't had this in so long, and it's my bad ankle. It's my bad ankle. That's the worst part. Amy said, Dustin,
Amy.
that's why I made the comment about feeling invisible in strict carnivore groups last night, because I'm heavy meat-based keto, but some groups view this as subpar to the carnivore way of eating.
It was funny, Scott from Wired for Healing, who's putting on the meat stock thing, had actually joked me when he was asking us to join that, like, do you think you'll be okay? Because this is largely a carnivore thing. And you guys are very publicly the two crazy, what now? Ketos. Like, will you be able to hold your own? And I'm like, I am very proud to be going. And if somebody, if my presence, like, oh my gosh, you're a keto person, ew, hold my nose, yuck. Like, I hope that I remind people that they need to check themselves. And number one, I love welcoming new people to the space. Do most people come from standard American diet and go carnivore? No, that is not usually the trajectory. That is very, very difficult. Some people make the jump. Maybe new people now could make the jump because you've got more carnivore talk. But for most people, it is about letting go of things one thing at a time. Like you start here and you're letting go, and it is hard enough to let go of your candy bar and potatoes and bread and all of this kind of stuff. So I hope I remind people that this is a journey. This is a journey, and we need to love people and welcome people coming in. If somebody new is in our space and we're naughty to them and we like turn our back to them and be like, come be friends with me when you've attained my like level of self-righteousness, really, then that's really ugly. Right. And I really hope that nobody is hoping to grow themselves into a mean girl.
Right.
Right? Like that's yo.
And again, we're not even saying it's bad to be carnivore.
No.
We're saying it's okay if you're not.
Are we
It's
loving?
okay if you are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go through seasons.
Sure.
We've done that where we are only eating meat for a little while, and then we're eating a lot of vegetables.
Yes.
And then we're eating a whole bunch. I mean, you go through seasons. I personally believe the body likes change. I think that that's how God designed us. You can look at that just in the way the world and nature operates.
Yeah.
Like think about when you look at food, okay? And like you go up north, what vegetables and starches, like think starch specifically, come into season in the fall.
Right.
So you've got like your potatoes and your squashes and things
Pumpkins,
like that are going to
gourds.
make it through the whole winter. Why? Because that's coming in because you're not going to be able to go kill an animal. So you need something to sustain you through. So I believe that our body was designed to be, again, opportunistic eaters, hunter-gatherers. You go out, you kill an animal. That is primarily what you're supposed to be eating, is meat. But when you come across a squash or a berry or something like that, you eat it. Because why? You don't know the next time you're going to find an antelope to kill.
Well, I think it's funny because, everybody's chasing metabolic health. We talk about that, metabolic health, That's how your body processes and uses the fuel that you give it, right? And the whole desire is like some little bit of flexibility. We're working with like our glucose and all that kind of stuff. Well, are we mad at people that flex their metabolic flexibility that they have worked really hard to attain? So like if I eat some collard greens and the bottom doesn't fall out of my health because I have spent 8 years gaining metabolic flexibility, you're really gonna crap on me? Like you're really going to like hate on me because I would exercise the metabolic flexibility that I've worked so hard to pursue?
So Dustin said, so the person that runs Meat Stock knows this is a thing. Hopefully listen, everybody in the true carnivore space knows this thing. I think
that's why he was joking me.
I literally think that everybody in the carnivore space is trying to outdo each other.
Right.
And listen, Dr. Sean Baker is the one who kind of paved the way and said it's okay to be carnivore.
Yeah.
Because he really was the first
Truly.
big name to be like, I'm not saying he's the first carnivore. I'm saying he's the first big person in the space to really...
A doctor that said it's okay,
I
it's
will
safe.
never forget, we were in Omaha and it was his birthday and he's eating like his stacks of steaks with a candle on it and doing push-ups, right? So, but it's kind of everyone, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. And I'm not saying all carnivores, but that really it can be a toxic space because people are going there saying like, I didn't have success there, but I'm gonna have success here. I literally had a recipe thing show up in my Facebook feed, which it's kind of annoying. I don't know if you all see it, but all these recipes show up in my Facebook feed and they're all AI. We've even tried a couple of them and I'm like, it was the grossest thing ever.
It didn't work.
AI cannot truly create a keto recipe.
It doesn't have taste buds.
Understand keto.
Yeah.
So anyway, this one came up and what caught my eye was they called it a cheeseburger casserole and I'm like, well crap, did somebody steal our recipe? because we have a recipe for cheeseburger. I think it's the best recipe we've ever done. And it literally tastes like a McDonald's cheeseburger without the bread. And I love that recipe. And so I'm reading down, and the first comment, which is usually the only one you can see, like without clicking on it, says, keto, yes, keto maybe, but how can you call this carnivore? So I clicked on it to look at the ingredients.
Okay. What was in it that was not carnivore?
Cheese, eggs, ground beef.
Well, cheese comes from an animal. It's a product.
It was not carnivore because it contained garlic powder and onion powder.
Get out of here. Like, come on. But this is, you know what?
That's what they said. Because you know me, guys. I have to respond to that. How is this not carnivore? And they said it's got onion powder and garlic powder in it.
Every single time I see somebody quadruple down on on one thing that like I am really good at this thing, and this thing so hard that like no one else can like be in my kingdom. I think about like I wonder if their bathroom is cleaned. Like I wonder if I took a Swiffer along their floor in their kitchen, like would it be dirty or would it be clean? Because I'm thinking that what they've decided is that I am going to be so good in this area and I have to patrol this area, not just for me, but for everybody else. But like that is so time consuming and like energy expending that there's something else that they're not good at.
Right.
Like there's something else that's going by the wayside so that they can focus on this one thing to be the best at.
So last one I saw from Melissa says, my husband says you can't lose weight without moving. I would agree. I asked, haven't you seen 600 Pound Life? I'm on month 4 and I'm down 35 pounds, no moving. So, in the beginning, especially on a ketogenic lifestyle.
I did that.
And listen, that sold Rachel on it.
You
mean I can lose weight and I don't have to get off my butt?
That was me.
Okay.
It was appealing.
So, yes, in the beginning, many people can lose weight, but it's like a false promise.
Right.
Why are you losing weight? You're going from eating, the average American eats like over 300 grams of carbohydrates a day. Sometimes upwards of like 600 grams of carbohydrates a day. When you go from that to eating 20,
you're gonna lose weight.
Your body is going to lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay, you just are. Because understand the way your body processes food. So when you consume food, the number one thing your body is always going to use for fuel is alcohol. So if you eliminate that's why if you eliminate alcohol, many people can begin to lose weight, at least initially, just by dropping alcohol.
Yeah.
Like literally, you can keep eating the same crap diet of 6 Big Macs a day.
We don't recommend it.
No, I'm not recommending, and I'm not saying to eat that. But if you're somebody who's drinking, a 12-pack of beer a day.
And you just stop doing that.
And then you're also eating like an entire bag of Reese's peanut butter cups, and you're eating 5 Big Macs a day with fries, and you cut out the alcohol, you will lose some weight for a little while. Why? Because your body, when you have that alcohol, it can't do anything else until it gets rid of it. So it's going to burn through that alcohol first. That means everything else, it's just storing it all. It's not using any of it. After alcohol, then it's exogenous ketones, then it's protein, but the protein is actually used
for muscle
and stuff like that, then carbohydrates. After you burn through all of the carbohydrates for fuel, then you get into dietary fat and body fat. Okay, so
if you cut out all the other things.
So if you have cut out the first things, your body is immediately getting into using dietary fat for fuel.
It's like you're standing in line for the movies, and you don't get to go up to the ticket counter until you get rid of the alcohol and all of these other things until it gets to
because if you're eating
the fat.
All of those carbohydrates, all the fat you're consuming, and most high carbohydrate foods are also high fatty foods.
Yeah.
Your body's just storing all that fat. So when you cut out those carbohydrates, it immediately will help. So for a little while, but eventually it will catch up to you and you will have to move because because again, 80% of your weight loss is what you eat.
Well,
but
and
the
it's-
other part will catch up. And for these people, like the 600-pound life, they're eating upwards of 10 to 20,000 calories a day. And I know that sounds like a ridiculous number, but I'm going to end with this.
We've done it.
Most people don't know this. I almost would love to this would be a colossal waste of money, but literally go buy what we used to eat on a Sunday and play it. And I almost want to physically see it.
I don't want to see it.
So here was our every other Sunday when we didn't have the children. We would wake up, we would go to church. We would go to Golden Corral and gorge to the point where you pretty much had to roll us out of Golden Corral.
Yes.
From there, we would go
nap.
home, we would take a nap. Sometimes we would get up and have an alcoholic beverage. We'd take another nap. Then we would order Outback Steakhouse.
Delivered.
Where we did not get a steak. We would each get our own Aussie cheese fries. We would get a couple, usually the macaroni and cheese. We never got the steak. I would get like 5 loaves of that bread,
It was
and then
awful.
we each got a chocolate thunder from Down Under. That was every other Sunday. So when you stop that and go keto, yeah, you're gonna lose weight.
You're gonna lose weight.
For a little while.
But again, you're also one of the reasons why like Dr. Nadir will like put people on that diet, too, to start, getting them in. He wants to get you in practice for what you need to continue doing. So it's like, while it behooves you, I learned this the hard way, it behooves you to start out the way you want to end up. So you want to start out moving and eating differently so that you are ultimately always going to need to move, and you're going to need to do stuff. So that's how it stops being a shock. What's really hard and brings a lot of heartache to people is when they do have that tremendous weight loss at the front, but they haven't like moved their body, and then they plateau like super, super hard, and you have that disappointing moment where you're like, wow, this is not as easy as it was. And now it's hard, and now I'm thinking about what I'm going without, and oh my gosh, I've given so much stuff up, and now I'm still not getting the results that I want. And now you also have to go start moving your body.
Right.
And you get I was very ticked off about it. I had a really bad attitude. The blessing was
You had Robert Sykes in your life kicking your butt?
kicking my butt.
Because I couldn't kick her butt. She would just tell me to screw off.
Savage was savage. Like it was as advertised. Like he was savage. He was not letting me off the hook.
So yeah, you don't have to go to the gym and do an elliptical for 2 hours a day. You just need to move.
Do what you can, and then your range of abilities expand as you get healthy.
Park in a far parking space.
Walk.
If you need to go get the mail, do that 5 times. When you go to the bathroom, stand up and sit down 10 times before you're done. Hopefully, finish and then stand up.
It's like
and sit
not
times.
before you're done.
Like if you do it before you're done, you may not make it back.
But
down one
again,
time,
because you're doing body
you're
weight.
doing something.
You're doing body weight exercises.
Yeah.
Might as well use the weight that you have as you're losing, it will be lesser and lesser weight, to carry. When I'm starting out, I'm over 300 pounds. Just standing up and sitting down, I am lifting 300 pounds. Right? And so as I lose weight, it's less and less, and it's easier to move around.
Okay, we're going to get off. We will be back live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for our normal weekly live stream.
We love you guys. Have a fantastic week.
Bye.